Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Gilbert Gottfried.
Calm down, the act is not going to be that funny. Hey, I don't want you to work yourself into a frenzy, because then when there's a joke where I really need the reaction, then you're going to be tired out. And I go, I gave him a whole reaction at the beginning. Now I got nothing. Yeah, can you at least fake a giggle? Nah. I wore myself out at the beginning, and now he kept revving it up, and I was applauding, and now I don't care. I'm sorry I ever showed up.
The official definition of the word comedy is any discourse or work genuinely intended to be humorous or amusing by inducing laughter. That is the ancient Greek definition. However, I feel comedy can be defined by way more simpler terms, such as fatty fall down, repetition in threes, words with CK, words with double G's, men in drag. The reducing or dressing down of any authority figure or upper-class citizen by a less fortunate poor citizen or less fortunate poor child. Okay, that last one wasn't a simpler term, but you catch my drift. They say that humor, comedy, officially started in the ancient Greek theater with plays by Euripides and Aristotle. But these poems or plays that were performed publicly are less humorous and or funny than they are simply obscene. Obscene does not equal funny, but I guess it does when it comes to ancient Greeks, because Aristotle and Euripides' plays are just phallic processions. Even later on in the Shakespearean definition of it, Shakespearean comedy was a play that had a happy ending where there's usually a marriage of some kind. This does not necessarily equal funny either. So I pretty much ignore everything up to the 19th and earliest 20th century. Greek, Elizabethan, the divine comedy from the Italian literature, all bullshit. Doesn't matter, irrelevant when it comes to modern humor. So, let's not waste any more time with that, and let's go right to the beginning. Charlie Chaplin. The early life of Charlie Chaplin was tragic, and like many comedians' origin stories, it seems to be a master of comedy. You first have to experience a life of extreme tragedy. Maybe that's why I haven't had much success in the comedic field professionally. Professionally. His father left him and his mother early on. His mother struggled to support them both, suffering many financial hardships, and then eventually, when Charlie was 14, she was committed to a mental institution. This left Charlie abandoned in a workhouse and eventually in the streets, where he started to hone his craft of performing. When he was only 19 years old, he was signed with a talent agency that ventured over to America, where he was scouted to perform for the Keystone Studios. There, he started to develop what would become his famous Tramp character, and eventually switched over to S&E Mutual and First National Corporations, where he debuted the character. The character's debut is quite amazing. The Tramp made his cinematic debut in the film Kid Auto Races at Venice in 1914. Now, this totally amazed me when I watched this film for the first time. This was the way Charlie Chaplin introduced the world to his Tramp character, his famous, now iconic, Tramp character. Now, I've seen a lot of silent films. I've seen a lot of silent films with good silent actors in them. But I never found myself actually busting out into laughter. I would definitely get some smiles out of it, especially, if the movie wasn't particularly funny, but just because silent films moved so fast. But upon watching Charlie Chaplin in Kid Auto Races at Venice, I found myself actually laughing hysterically, and at the same time, incredibly impressed with how he chose to show his character to the world for the first time in a way that would immediately make him lovable. In a concept that could give a guerrilla filmmaking reality TV show a run for their money, Charlie Chaplin plays an annoying scoundrel of a character that seems to be the only person in the crowd, full of spectators watching the car races, that has discovered the camera and loves it and seems to feel like the camera loves him. He acknowledges the camera in a way that is a little jarring, to be honest, for such an old film. It's almost like he's in on something that nobody else is. He is certainly way ahead of his time. This getting in the way of filming of a live sporting event character is almost exactly like Jim Carrey's in the background of a live news report spectator character that he used to do at the beginning of many In Living Color episodes. An extremely memorable and very creative way to debut the character of the Tramp to movie-going audiences. Charlie Chaplin went on to make several successful comedies. The Kid, 1921. A Woman in Paris, 1923. The Gold Rush, 1925. The Circus, 1928, which he won Oscars and Academy Awards for. City Lights, 1931. Modern Times in 1936. And The Great Dictator in 1940, unfortunately, where he parodied Hitler before America got involved in the war. And basically, America and the movie-going audiences, Hollywood, the public, his fans, blame him for our involvement in World War II. Many people think it was Pearl Harbor, but really it was that Charlie Chaplin pretended to be Hitler in the movie The Great Dictator in 1940 is the reason that we got involved in the war with Nazi Germany. After that, he was basically blacklisted out of Hollywood, considered controversial, and never ever experienced the same kind of filmmaking heights he did with The Kid, The Gold Rush, or even kid races at Venice.
A supermodel. I figured, fuck it. Dinner at the hotel, champagne bottle, steak and potato, a feather in a bucket. Tell me, what is it we're pretending not to know? And who needs proof? I don't need so much to remember. Not this stuff, baby.